is, some very basic information about your voter. You'll have their name and their age, their phone number. You'll have their party affiliation, which James Warren, our sample voter here, is with the Conservative Party, which he has the C. On our phone banks, you should be seeing either D for Democrat or U for a blank voter. This is just a sample voter I pulled out. And actually, we're going to skip to slide 9. If you do call a voter up and you don't actually talk to them, the very first box you'll have under your voter is your little box. The ones that you most frequently have are they weren't home. We get a decent amount of wrong phone numbers as we're. If the line was busy, we mark that. If the person moved, and it's a real phone number, but it's not the person's phone number, that's what we mark off. We do have an option for deceased. Every campaign that we run, we will run into 2 or 3 voters that passed on, and even though those calls would be incredibly rare, that button makes absolutely sure we never attempt to contact that voter and bother their family again. And then there's the refused response, and that's probably the only tricky one here. Response is basically when you do talk to someone, but you don't get they say they're I'm about to sit down to dinner, and they just kind of hang up on you, or someone who wasn't necessarily friendly, but we call them back again in a couple weeks or a couple months in a better mood, or catch them when they actually have a moment to talk.
What happens if you make a phone call and someone says, please remove me from the list, or don't call again? Is there any way of registering that information?
If you register that as a wrong number, that will also that doesn't remove their phone number for all of time, but it will make it so we don't call them again during the campaign. So that's the response you should use in that case. If we get someone on the line, then what I would say is, hi, my name is Dustin. I'm a volunteer with New York 19 Votes. I'm talking to voters today about about the congressional district. Everything going on in Congress in Washington D.C. Is Shelley home? Hey, how's it going, Shelley? Thanks for taking a few seconds to talk. And we haven't. What I found just through the larger phone bank we had last week. We haven't worked it into the script yet. But what most folks have found useful to say is, hey, we're asking folks, 3 questions tonight. And when you say you're just asking 3 questions, it kind of lets the voter know that we're not calling to do some super long survey, but just trying to catch their thoughts for a brief moment. The first question we're asking is, do you think our Republican-controlled Congress is doing their job and working to help voters here in the district? For any ID in question you're ever going to get on Vote Builder, you're almost always going to get a scale of 1 to 5 or sometimes 1 to 6. And Vote Builder is always like golf, where whatever you're asking, a 1 is going to be the answer you want to hear, and a 5 is the response we do not want to hear. So for this Congress ID, if you call someone up and you say, hey, do you think the Republican-controlled Congress is doing their job? And before you even finish their questions, they say, I wish we could vote every Republican out of office because they're a bunch of do-nothings that, are terrible. Then, the response you'd want to record is 1 for strong anti-GOP for that. If you call someone up and their answer is, I can't wait for the wall to be built. Wow, I love Mitch McConnell. He just seems like a charming guy. And Paul Ryan, what a policy wonk. And, isn't he always trying to do the right thing? That's a 5. We will never talk to that person again. We'll let them be on their own journey. Your difference between like a 1 and a 2, it's a matter of some interpretation. That difference matters a little bit less than between, like a 3. But basically, a 1 is always someone that's is just super excited or a super reaction to what we're asking. A 3, we have like undecided or unsure. And so a 3 really goes for anyone who, you might get someone that says, I really have no idea what's going on in Congress. I really don't know. I don't know anything where they don't really have a response, whether it's from, like a lack of information or just because they really don't know and don't really have an opinion formed. That's going to be a 3.